Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phay, and welcome to the channel. I just burned 2,000 calories. That's the last time I leave the brownies in the oven while I take a nap. Today, we're taking a look at Metal Gear Solid from Emerson Matucci and published by Come On. So, Metal Gear Solid is a 1 to 4 player espionage game. Now, this game is based off of the Metal Gear, the computer game. It's the older. I think this is the original one. I never played it. Never played any of the Metal Gear games on the computer at all. But I heard they were absolutely fantastic. And this is more of an espionage type of game where you're wanting to sneak. You're wanting to kind of try to get around, not necessarily killing all the guards and whatnot, but try to sneak around them, do whatever you can do to try to complete all the different missions. All right. You're going to be working together in this. There's a campaign in this. There are VR missions in this. So some of the things are going to be required for one character. Some are going to be required for multiple characters. There is a lot going on in this game. So I'll tell you what, let me give you a brief overview of how to play this game, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. So to play the game, the first thing you need to do is you need to get it set up, but you need to figure out what you're going to play. Now, like I said, there is a ton going on in this game, so I'm not going to explain everything. I'm just going to give you a high level detail of what's going on, okay? Just so that way you understand my final thoughts a little bit better. So there's the Shadow Moses campaign, which is, I believe, if I remember right, it is 14 different scenarios. And they highly recommend that you go through scenarios 1 and 2 of that to learn the basics of the game. They kind of walk you through the game and teach you as it goes. And I absolutely love it when games do that. All right. And those are pretty much going to be a solo only game, if I remember correctly. And you're playing just Snake in those. After that, then you can continue the campaign, or you can actually jump into the VR missions. Now, the VR missions, there's 6 of those, and those are designed for 1 to 4 characters, and you can play them a couple different ways. You can actually put a boss in there, so you can kind of do a little boss battler at the same time, or you can just kind of do them as you're sneaking in your espionage to try to complete the mission. All right. But regardless, once you're set up and once you're ready to play, then what you're going to do is whoever's going to be the first player, they're going to go ahead and take their actions. Now, every character is going to have 4 actions. And you also have 4 tiles that you're going to get that can actually allow you to be able to do special things. Now, the actions you get, if you look at your board, all right, you're going to see on the left-hand side and also on the right-hand side of that board, all the different actions that you can take and how many actions it takes to do them. So, for example, you can sneak. You can just put 1 of your action tokens on that, and you can sneak. You can basically move just 1 space. You can dash for 1 action, but you're going to move 2 spaces, but you're going to be doing a noise roll at the end, and I'll cover more of that in a second. I'm looking at Snake here, so we're just going to go down his and do his for the most part. You can do a hand-to-hand attack, which means you can spend 1 action. You're going to roll 1 white dice, and if you can actually get a roll equal to or higher than the defense of the guard that you're going after, then you're going to be able to knock him out. For 2 actions, you can actually roll 2 whites and a black dice. And try to do the same thing. And you're still going to knock him out as well. You're just going to get a better chance of knocking him out. You're rolling more dice. But the problem is you also have more chances of rolling the red exclamation marks, which is going to create some noise. And that's going to put your noise token on. And I'm going to be talking about that throughout all over the place because there's your alert token that's going to go out there, your note that you're putting down that's going to be drawing the guards all over. You can do a focus action. Now, you have these 4 tokens that are on the side of the board. They're going to give you different things. Maybe they're going to give you a plus or minus to a dice. Maybe they're going to give you a reroll. Maybe they're going to give you an extra action or whatever it's going to be. Okay. Once you use them, you flip them over. When you flip them over, you're going to see like a little red kind of half circle with a number by it. That's how many actions tokens it's going to take you in order for you to flip all of those back. All right. So if you just have 1, you can spend 1 action, you can get it back, and you can even use the turn you get it back. Now, for Snake, you also have drag body, for example. So for 1 action, you can move a body, kind of get out of a hallway, so that way it's not going to be in plain sight for other guards to see. Maybe they'll walk by and they'll never see it. For an action, you can interact, which means you're going to be able to roll 2 black dice and a white dice for the most part. And a lot of the things like some doors or even elevators are going to have an interact icon. And all you have to do is you just roll your dice. And mostly what you're looking for in those is you're making sure that you don't roll that exclamation mark, so that way you're not generating any noise. Okay. You have the knock ability. The knock ability, basically what that's going to do is that is going to allow you to move and put your alert token down. And the cool thing about that is if it's in a location that maybe the guards are going to go see, you can do a knock, move your alert token, and now they're going to divert to another area, and then you kind of sneak around. So it's kind of a way to move the guards where you need them to be, and then you get to wherever you're going to go. And then you, with Snake, you also have the silent takedown. So for 2 actions, you can put them on that. And basically, if you're behind the adjacent, you can just take him out, man. Just drop that guard and he is gone. All right. Now, they do have some special abilities down at the bottom. Every character's got their own special little abilities. And those are going to be different things that you're going to be able to do during your turn based on if you meet that particular criteria. So it's going to help you out a lot. You also have the icons in the lower left-hand corner, which is going to tell you how much equipment you can take in every mission. It's going to tell you what your defense value is, and it's going to tell you what your health is. And those are usually 3, 3, and 4 for the health. And I believe all the characters are going to be the same on that. Once all the characters have taken their turns, now you're going to go to the enemy phase. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw the top guard order card. Now the guard order cards are in 3 different stages. The very top is going to kind of, maybe they're going to place more guards down. Some of the ones that are knocked out, they're probably going to start waking up a little bit more. But you just kind of do number 1, see what it is. Number 2 is always going to be associated to the cameras. There's going to be no change to the cameras, or there's going to be a camera facing. If the camera is a change, you have 1 main token, you flip it over to the other color, and then you can look at the cameras on the board and you can see what direction that they're going. You have the bottom part, what that's basically going to do is that's going to tell you how they're going to move. Now, if you have a red alert token on the board, or if there's a red alert token from any one of the characters on the board, the guards are all going to go there and they're going to move as many spaces as that's on the card, and they're just going to get to where they need to go. Otherwise, what they're going to do is they're going to look at the right-hand side that's in the blue, and they're going to see if you have your alert token, your colored blue alert token on the board. If you have that, then what they're going to do is the closest one is going to try to go to that. Everyone else is just going to basically do a patrol unless they have guards in their line of view. And when they get to, if they ever get to that token, then what they're going to do is you're going to reveal flip over another card, and you're going to find whatever that token is and read what it says and just do whatever it is. Okay, it probably has to do with that token coming off the board. Maybe it spawns another guard if it was, a dead guard or a knocked out guard or whatever it's going to be. But you do whatever that is. Otherwise, if there's nothing else to do, they're just going to move. Okay, so say they have a move with a left arrow. What that basically means is they're just going to go in a straight line. They have all little arrows in the front of them. They're just going to go in a straight line. If they hit a wall, they're going to want to turn to the direction of the arrow that's on that card if it is a single turn. If it takes them 2 turns to get away from a wall, but they can turn the opposite direction for 1, they're going to go the opposite direction. They're going to go the smart way. They're not going to sit there and be facing walls all the time. Okay. But once they finish their move, if they are facing a wall, then they're going to use that same arrow to try to turn again. If it's only the 1 space to turn there, they'll do that. If it's 2 spaces to get away from a wall, but 1 to go the opposite direction, move them the other direction. If they end their space on the map and then they have one of those arrows underneath them, they're automatically going to do a turn right there as well. So they could be in the middle of the room and they just may do a turn. Okay, I'm just going to turn this location. And you're going to follow the arrow on that card as well to do that. If they ever see that you're in line of sight, they have a number of dice that they can roll. They're going to roll those 2 black dice. And if they can get to anything higher than your defense or equal, they're going to do damage to you. All right. But you're going to basically keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Everyone's going to take their actions. You're going to do what you need to do to try to meet the objective. You're going to try to avoid the guards as much as possible. Sometimes you have to knock them out. Sometimes you have to kill them. Sometimes you're going to respawn in the guard rooms. If the walkie-talkie symbol comes up, they're all in. There's not enough of the actual guards on the board, the actual figures, not counting the little dead tokens, then they're going to spawn a new guard in the walkie-talkie space, facing the arrow, and then you're going to have another one. And if they ever wake the other one up, well, then you might have 4 or more guards in the space. So you got to be very careful of that. But otherwise, yeah, that's it. You're doing your actions. The guards are taking their turn. You have that entire deck of cards. The bottom stack of that cards, all the red cards, there's 1 card in there that just could end the game a little bit early. So it's kind of a timer. Well, it is a timer, but it could end beforehand. That card may not be in the bottom. So you want to make sure that you get the mission completed in time. You can't just dilly-dally around. This is espionage and sneaking around after all. All right, but keep doing all that stuff. Get to your objective, complete your objective. And if you can manage to do that, you will win Metal Gear Solid, the board game. All right, folks, there you go. That was like a super high level overview of how to play this game. I didn't cover everything because there's actually some really good rules videos on how to play this game out there. I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what's going on for my final thoughts. Now, for me, I'll tell you what, I love espionage games. I love games where you got to sneak around and whatnot. Some of my favorite games, even on the computer side of things, have always been like that. I'd rather try to sneak and get around than try to kill things. I think my favorite computer game was a game called Thief, where that's all you did is you just had a bow with some water arrows and some other things, whistling arrows. You made noise, you diverted the guards, but you had to try to sneak around. And that's what this game is too. I wish I knew about this game as a computer game back then, and I probably would have played this one because this was right down my wheelhouse of the games I like to play on the computer. Okay. Now, as far as board games go, it is 100% of my wheelhouse on what I like to play because this game is amazing. This game is fantastic. I absolutely love the campaign that's in this thing and the way it actually teaches how to play. It keeps introducing new stuff. Now, one of the cool things about this game is as you're doing things, as you're playing that campaign, as you're playing through those VR missions, they have a codex book. Now that codex book's going to have some entries in it, and those entries you're going to go to those entries, and it may give you a card, it may tell you some flavor text or give you some information, but you're going to want all that because it's just going to help further that story along, and it's just going to tell, in my view, just an amazing story in how this plays out. Okay. Now the other thing that's really cool is you have this memory box. Now, as you get equipment, you're putting those cards in that memory box because you can only take so many cards into a mission. And if you've got, like, say, a stack of 12 cards, but Snake's going in alone, he's got to pull 3 cards that he's going to take. And that's all he's going to get for this mission. So you have to be kind of smart and you got to be kind of careful about what you take in. Sometimes you want to take in cards, you're going to give you some health. Sometimes you just actually might need to take that pistol. You never know when you got to try to take those guards down. But that's actually really cool. Now, the other thing that's really cool too is I really like these VR missions. The VR missions is just a lot more flavor you can do. So if you want to introduce the game to somebody, you can just throw a VR mission down at the table. You can play it with any number of players, and you're good to go. You just teach them how to play the game, and you play the game. Because like I said, the campaign is designed, to me, it's more designed as a solo game. It really is, because for the first couple missions, you're only playing as Snake, and then they add a second character in, and then eventually you may add another character in. And those are okay if you have those other people around that want to play those other characters to try to do those missions, but they're not going to play the earlier stuff, so they may not know quite as much about it. But that's, to me, that's just the way it is. To me, this is a great solo game. Absolutely love this as a solo game for the campaign. VR missions, that's where I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to play that when I play 2, 3, and even 4 players. Now, I will say this. The more you play this game, the more you're going to understand how guard movement is, how your movement is. And it actually kind of does get a little bit easier because when you start to understand how things are in this game, and how the guards react in this game and how line of sight works in this game, it makes it easier to figure out where you might need to go and how you might be able to sneak behind the guards. Now, it doesn't always work, but it's always a good starting point. All right. Now, one of the really other cool things I like about this game is I actually like the way they do the line of sight. To some people, it makes sense. To me, it makes sense. To others, I've listened to them and they're like, why? Okay. But it's actually really cool. You have your guard. All right. And your guard is going to be looking in all the rows and columns that are facing him. So you can kind of run up to the side of the guard and he's not going to see you. All right. He's looking in front. He's not looking to the sides. So if you got a token and you're in front of him, what you're going to do is you're going to draw a box around the guard guy and around your guy. So you're going to have this big giant square. Okay. And if anywhere in that square, it's going to cross any sort of borders, a wall, a section for a door or whatever it's going to be, an obstacle, then you're hidden. You're out of view. It's basically saying, yeah, this is where your figures are on the board, but you know what? You're probably more hunkered down up against these crates that are right over here, or you're sneaking by the wall and you're kind of trying to peek in through the door. You're not just standing in plain sight going, hey, look at me, man. Shoot me. It's taken into consideration that you're actually probably trying to hide. You're probably trying to get away and you don't want to be seen. All right. And I do like that. It's actually a really simple and really fast way of determining line of sight. I don't have a problem with it, and I think it works fantastic. You can use it to your advantage. Always stay by those walls. Always stay by those areas and stay hunkered down, okay? It's just one way of keeping those guards from being able to see you, right? Now, the movement of the guards is another thing that's actually really cool. I like how they're constantly moving. They're constantly pivoting. You have all the spaces on the board, so you know that if they're going to end in certain areas, they're going to turn. So you kind of have an idea how they're going to go. But what you don't know is those guard order cards. You don't know what the number is going to be. Now, if it's usually red and they're on a high alert, they're going to move a lot of times a 5 or a 6 spaces. With the blue ones, they're going to be moving 3s and 4s. Okay, maybe a 5 here and there. All right, but the numbers are a little bit less. So you can kind of count out each one of the guards and where they're going to go. The other thing is, and I didn't mention this, is the guard's order. There is an order token that goes on the top of the map. Okay, and every map shows you where it goes, and it shows you how they are. So basically, you just start in the upper left-hand corner, and you go all the way across that row, and then you go down the next row, and you just keep going all the way across, and you activate them in that order. So in some cases, depending on how everything's set up, you might have 3 guards in a line. Well, the back guard's going to end up going first, which means he's going to leapfrog everybody else and kind of run up ahead. And then the next one's going to go, and the next one's going to go. So the guards are going to actually keep changing location. It's going to move them additional spaces, and it's going to bounce them around the board, sometimes a little bit faster. And it's really cool the way that works. I like the fact that if you leapfrog somebody else, you're not counting those spaces. So if you're standing behind 2 guards and you want to jump those 2 guards, the one space in front of those 2 guards, which is technically 3 spaces away, only counts as 1 for you. Now, if you leapfrog guards, you're going to get attacked from leapfrogging. Okay, so just take that into consideration. But it helps you get behind guards. It helps you move a lot faster and get around things. And it also works for your own people as well. You can leapfrog your own people to kind of get out of the way. All right. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love it. This is probably right now one of my favorite solo games to play, just because I do like the way these missions are. I do like the sneaking. Now, I do have several games that involve that sneaking. I know I like Burn Cycle is one of them. Stalker is another one. Both of them are absolutely fantastic as well. This just falls right in that little wheelhouse with them. And it's just one of my favorite genres of games. I just like trying to sneak around a map, sneak around a board, try to get to my objective and do what I need to do to complete it. Absolutely fantastic game. I hope they come out with more for this. I would love to see a bunch more missions come out for this. I would love to see, if this is based off of, say, the original computer game, make another one that's based off the second computer game and throw all those missions in as well. I think it would be an absolutely fantastic game, and I would be the first one to sign up to get it. Absolutely love Metal Gear Solid. This is, in my book, if you like espionage type games, if you like, you're putting your guys on a map and you're trying to figure out how you're going to be able to complete objective, how you're going to work together as a team to try to get done what you need to get done, I think this is an absolutely fantastic game. And I'll tell you, there's a lot more to this game that I haven't even covered. I never covered. I'm talking about unlocking doors and doing your interact for those. You got the whole puzzle aspect. There is just a ton. I could sit here and talk for an hour on this game, but I know you guys wouldn't want to listen to that. So I personally recommend Metal Gear Solid. I think this is an amazing game, and I think this should be in a lot of collections. Well, thank you once again for joining me today. As always, I please ask you to like this video on YouTube, Board Game Geek, Facebook, or even on X. Please leave me a comment on any one of those platforms, and I'll get to those comments just as soon as I can. And also, folks, if you like the content I provide here, if you haven't done so already, I humbly ask you to click on the subscription button and even click on the bell and be notified when I drop new videos. And also, if you like the videos that I do here, I also post videos over on the Discriminating Gamers channel. Over there, we'll do some unboxings, some playthroughs, and some reviews. I'll leave a link to Cody's channel down in the details below. I used to think that I was indecisive, but now I'm not so sure.